have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of politics driven by fear and division. We are done with that, and we are exhausted with it. And America is ready. America is ready for a fresh start, ready for a new way forward, where we see our fellow American not as an enemy, but as a neighbor. We are ready for a president who knows that the true measure of a leader is not based on who you beat down, it is based on who you lift up. And Michigan, you know me, I am not afraid of tough fights, evidently. For decades as a prosecutor and the top law enforcement officer of the biggest state, I won fights against the big banks that ripped off homeowners. I won fights against for-profit colleges that scammed veterans and students. I won fights against predators who abused women, children, and seniors. I won fights. I won fights against the cartels that trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. And it is my pledge to you, if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf as president, there is nothing in the world that will stand in my way. I'm here for you. And I will get up every day to fight to make your life better, to bring down the cost of living, to ban corporate price gouging on groceries, to make housing and child care more affordable. My plan will cut taxes for workers, for middle-class families and small businesses. Lower health care costs, including the cost of home care for seniors. Because, by the way, I believe health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it.
Here in your state, the ballad to Herschel Walker, they're playing the ballad to that guy, and all he wanted to do is play football. He's a good person with a great wife and family and everything, and we love that you're here, Herschel. And as good as that Georgia team is, if Herschel was playing on it, they'd be very happy. And we could guarantee it, but he's a special guy. He's a good guy. Really a great guy, smart guy, too. So they would take all of the things that we're doing, and they put them into a hopper, and what they do is destroy our country, and we're not going to let it. We're going to bring it back. We're going to create millions and millions of jobs. We're going to get those countries and to leave our companies alone. We're not going to do it. And if you're going to play games and if you're going to steal from us, our companies, and give us unemployment and busted companies, we're not going to let it happen. And if it does happen, we're going to tariff you the hell out of business. We're not going to let it happen. It's not going to happen. And just one quick story. In Mexico, they're building the largest auto plant in the world. A friend of mine told me that he's a builder of auto plants. That's all he does. That's all he's good at. Frankly, he tells me if you said to build an apartment, he would be no good, but he can build a massive plant. He's the best. And he was telling me about a year ago that China's going to build a massive auto plant in Mexico, and they're going to sell the cars into the United States. And I think he said that the capacity would be literally, this would be bigger than what they have in Michigan, the state. This is a monster, but it'll put all our auto workers out of business, everyone out of business. And I didn't like that when I heard that. And I was up in Detroit at the Detroit Economic Club. By the way, isn't it nice that you have a president that doesn't have to use a teleprompter? I haven't looked at that damn teleprompter. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? But I I said to him, John, let me ask you, I want to see a plant. I just want to see. Why do you want to? Just why? Because, I think I'm going to do well if I run again. So I want to see it. This was a year ago. He said, well, thank you, darling. He said, well, you'll have to come to Mexico because we're not doing the big ones here. We're doing plants, but not the big ones. I said, no, they should be doing the big ones here. He said, well, it's not happening anyway. So I said, I'm not going to Mexico. I don't want to go to Mexico. Even though they did what I asked them to do. They always did. They did. They were fine. But Mexico's a real threat because of what's going on. A real threat, economic threat. And China's going into Mexico because this way they don't have to float it across the seas. It's not going to happen.